Hit another deer with this thing, and it was in the passenger right here. You can see where the lights are kind of misarranged here. This is all loose. This whole thing comes out. It's all busted up in behind that. We're going to take this apart, see if we can't fix that. Lucky enough, we don't have any damage on the body metal there. We do see where it impacted right there. It's cracked, but there's a support in behind here. So the bumper's intact too, so that's not an issue, but we do have to fix that. We've removed that grill, and all that's going to be is 4 screws. There's going to be 2 on the top, and there's going to be 2 on the front face here. If we get in close here, here's one of the screws there, and then there's one on the top. The other side, we've got one on top, and then we got the other one right there. So now after removing that grill, we see that we're gonna have to remove this bumper. So we gotta pop these plugs off that are holding the top of the bumper to that rad support. So we'll remove that bumper next. When we're prying out these plugs here, this one's a 2-piece plug. So this top one pops out of there, and then this will come out. So that's on the top here, underneath the grill. Then on each side in the wheel well, we're gonna have 3 push plugs in there. And here's our push plugs here. Those just push in. So just pry those out. There's gonna be 3 of those on either side. And now underneath, in my case, I got a combination of both. I got this 2-piece plug here, and then I've got the push plug style there. And it looks like we've got 3 of those on the bottom. Once you removed all those plugs, then you can just simply pull that bumper forward and it will come right off. On the floor here, we can see that these are our plug holes here. So we've got 1, 2, 3 on the bottom. We're also gonna have our 3 on the sides, 1, 2, and 3, so that's 3 each side. And then again on the top, we've got another 3 there, 1, 2, and 3. Once you've removed all those plugs, you just simply pull the bumper straight forward and it comes out of these slots here. On the side of the vehicle here are the pins that are holding it, and that's what it's sliding into to kind of line it up into place, and then when you fasten it together with those plugs for the installation and removal. Now we get at this light assembly here, and first we want to remove this signal light on the side. So you're going to come in here with your screwdriver. Should be some space in here to grab that top screw. If we take a look at the other side, you can see this is your space where you get in there and you get that screw out of there. So there's the top one, but then now we've got a hidden one under here, and I've just got the screwdriver kind of shoved in there, and you got to find it, and you got to put your screwdriver in between the 2 lights and get in there and get that screw out. Those 2 screws there, top and underneath, will hold that in. Once you remove those, it should come out easily. And these kind of got to come out in sequence here. You need to remove this one in order to get it to your fasteners to remove the bottom one there. So there it is, we've removed that bottom one. There's the top one. Just remove your wiring, that'll come out. Now that we've removed this one, you can see where we need to access these screws here for the bottom one. Now, I do believe in most cases there's 2 of them, but we're missing some plastic down there. There's a hole there, so there's 1 screw there, 1 screw there. You remove those 2, and then this will have like a little hook or catch over here. So you kind of pull it out this way and then extract it that way, and it should come out real easy. We've removed that screw out of there, and then we want to disconnect our light. And then after you've done that, there's just a catch portion in here where it'll catch in place, and there's that piece there that you can see, and then we unplug that, and then this whole thing can be removed. Now when it comes to this piece here, obviously we got to disconnect our wiring for our light. You can see one of the fasteners is here, and then that goes onto the back of the light there. Down here you can see another pin where that just presses on, and we have one there that's another pin, and that should press onto that piece down there. And I do believe those are the 3 locations that hold this front light into place there. With all the lights removed, we see what we're dealing with here, and this piece is basically busted right off, separated from that portion there. What are our options to repair this thing? It might be hard to get one of these grill supports Maybe you can find one from an auto wrecker. Maybe what you could do is set it back in place there and find some remedy to hook it back up. See where it's all busted here. I've seen guys that do some like plastic welding. They'll drill holes and they'll stitch it with tie wraps or wire. They'll use wire and they'll form it and then heat it up and then stick it in there to kind of hold these pieces together. People have come up with different ways to try and repair this because you can't find replacement parts. Now, I was able to find one from an auto wrecker, but I mean, this one isn't in much better shape. It is complete at least, but you can see where my corner's blown out on there, same as the old one. On the driver's side, this is what it's supposed to look like if that plastic was still in place over there. What we'll do is we'll finish removing our lights off that side, and then we can remove this whole thing, put our used one in there, and fasten everything back together. To remove this grille support here, we're gonna have in the top, one there, and one over here. And then we're gonna have two here, and we're gonna have two in the corners, one down there and one down there. That side's busted. And we're gonna have our center one right there. So get in a little closer. Here's that one on the side here. Here's this one. In my case, that's blown out, so we're missing that one. Over here on this side, there's that one there. These are the corner ones here, so they come up from underneath and they screw in there. The other side is blown out. Obviously, that one would have been right here. It's all blown out of here. And lastly, we have this center one down the bottom there, and those are all gonna be a 10 mil. You remove all those, and this grille support should come out. Also too, we're gonna have to take that screw out, which is holding our temperature sensor on there. We're also gonna have some wires to disconnect. So we've got these connectors here that are holding it to the grille support. There it is, laying on the floor after we've removed it. Once we've disconnected all the fasteners and the holds for the wiring, we just pull that straight forward. You're gonna have to get the wiring through the holes and pull that out of there. What I'm going to do before I throw this thing away is I'm gonna keep these little pieces here. Now these pieces are gonna be for our headlight connections, and I don't think they're available for replacement parts. So I'm gonna keep those. There's gonna be 3 of them here. There's one there, and this one here. These are gonna be what you're using to adjust your lights. So that's what that fastener up top is there and there. So you have 3 connections for the lights, and then you use those to adjust the direction of your headlight beam, where you want it centered to the road and at the proper height. The other thing to remove off of here will be these clips if you are missing any of those, so you want to keep those clips as well. We're putting things back together here with our new used grille support. A couple of things. So we've got everything bolted back. Again, there's going to be some bolts along the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're missing that one in the bottom corner there. We've got another one in the bottom corner there, and we got our center bolt there. So we've got things kind of bolted up, loose though, because when we're starting to put these lights in this over here, you want that bolt and that bolt loose so that you got a little room to play and manipulate those lights into where they want to go. So the first one was we put this one in, so we plug in our 2 lights. There's that one, and then it hooks into here. And then once you got that hooked in, you're going to push this corner in, and then there's one screw down on this side to bolt it down because the bottom piece is broken. Over here on this side, we still have our 2 locations for that bottom light. There's going to be one here and there's going to be one there. Now this whole portion is busted out on the passenger side, so we're not able to use this or this. Now once we've got this bottom one bolted in, next we're going to put this one in here, and that is where we want to have this bolt loose and this bolt loose, so that we can kind of articulate this plastic grille support in order to get our lights in there. Once the lights are all installed, then we can tighten down those bolts, because then that's where it wants to be. Until then, we're going to leave it loose. Another thing is there's a rubber gasket that goes in here. What I did for that rubber gasket was I just used a little bit of RTV sealant, threw that in there to help hold that in place so it doesn't come out. Now this piece here is the next one to go in. It might be hard to see, but down in there, there's a spot to line it up on the bottom. Then over here on the top, we line that hole up and then we tighten that in there. So I kind of ground out a little notch in the bottom of the light, so it's a little easier for me to get my screwdriver in there to get at that screw in there. Otherwise, it seems to be hidden. What I could do is I could also grind the top of this bottom light to give a little more room in there as well. Now here's an example right here where I've just kind of chewed out some of that material, so it's easier to get the screwdriver in there to loosen that screw. The last thing to do will be to plug in our light, and then we've got our 3 pins here. 1, 2, 3. We line those up with that headlight, and then we just push that on and it should snap into place and everything should be good that way. Here it is installed, and what I did was I lined these 2 pins up first. Then I give it a smack with the palm of your hand, and then I line up this last pin in this bottom corner over here. It's going to be hard to see in there, but you could maybe catch that rod, and you just want to line that up and just give it a smack with the palm of your hand, and those 3 will hold it in place. And as you can see, it's pretty solid. Everything's solid in here now. It's all good. Got the lights in, got the bumper on, and I think this is a good time to introduce the idea for a winter front. Just go down to the store, grab that crazy carpet that the kids use to slide down the hills with, use that material, and then I'm going to put it in behind the grill. I'm going to cut it to the shape that I want, and then in my case I'm just using some zip ties. I put some holes in there, and I'm going to fasten it to those 3 supports. You would cut it to whatever shape you want, and you would cover as much as you want for a winter front, and then that's going to give you some more heat in wintertime when you're driving around in the cold weather. Here it is all finished here. For some reason the original grill would not go back on with this grill support. The holes wouldn't line up, don't know why. Found this other grill off of Parts Jeep, put that on there. Everything's complete. Also too, while you're doing this, you want to make sure you check that all your bulbs are working before you assemble everything, so you don't have to take it all apart again. Everything works, everything fits, all the fasteners are in. I didn't put that winter front in yet. It's a little too early for that. Maybe another month or 2. All I got to do is take that grill off, put the winter front in behind it, and put the grill back on. It's very thin material. It should not interfere with assembling the grill over top of the winter front.